Okay, parents and families, I'm going to quickly show you what this week's learning looks like for your child. So once you've clicked on the correct shell that says Team 111, you'll be taken to the home page like we talked about in the other video. The schedule is right here, so give this a look, and it does not have to be done in this order. It can be in whatever order you like. You can skip parts if you don't have time. It's really up to you. At the very bottom is where you'll start with math, ELA, science, and then social emotional. You can also check out the specialist pages. So we have PE library, the Camelot library page, music, and then the guidance counselor. Camelot also has a page that you can look at too. To get back to where you need to be to find all the learning, you can click home. And you'll see you'll go right back to the home page. So let's start by going through math because that will not take as long. The learning target for this week is I will tell and write time to the nearest minute, and I will solve word problems about elapsed time. Elapsed time just means there's a start time and there's an end time, and we're trying to figure out how much time passed by in between. Or alternatively, you could have the start time and the elapsed time in between, and you need to figure out what the end time is, or you don't know the start time, you know the time passed, and you know the end time, and you need to figure out what time the problem started at. On Monday, the kids are just going to watch a video, and then they can open and read this PowerPoint right here. If it doesn't open, just let me know, shoot me a message on Class Dojo, and I will troubleshoot. They answer the questions in the math workbooks, which I delivered home to you guys. You're starting on page 589. And then they will complete a really short quiz on elapsed time. They just click this link right here. Once they've clicked a link, say if they're taking this quiz, they take it and they submit. If you want to go back to the learning, you can go to modules on this side right here, and then welcome to week 1 math, and you'll get right back to this math page. Alternatively, you could just go to the home page and start again. On Tuesday, they're going to solve a real world time problem. They'll watch another video, open the PowerPoint, and the same thing, but now they're on page 593, and then they're going to do a discussion. To do the discussion page, you just click, you look at the question, look at the clocks, and then to reply, you just type reply right down here. Say your answers. So for example, I think A shows the time 4:02, and then they're going to post reply. On Wednesday, they're looking at 2 different methods on how to solve elapsed time problems. They choose their favorite method, and then they're going to practice using their favorite method. They'll practice using this quiz right here. So another quiz. Thursday, they're answering time questions where the end time is unknown. There's an instructional video on YouTube. There is a math starter to kind of get their brains thinking. That's a discussion post again. And then same thing, they open up the PowerPoint and they work on page 599 of their math workbook. Friday, another instructional video. This time it's a different strategy. They're now working on problems where the start time is unknown. And they are going to open and read a PowerPoint, the same thing that they do in class. We always open the PowerPoint, so it should look familiar to them. And this time they'll be on page 605 in their workbook. They can also play around on a virtual clock using this link. And then at the very end of Friday, they're going to take an elapsed time quiz. Try and encourage your child to wait until these days to take these assignments. You don't want them all doing it at the beginning of the week and then having nothing for the end. Okay, let's go to ELA and quickly go through that, and then we will be pretty much there. Go back to homepage, week 1 ELA, click on it, and there you go, there's the learning target. I can write an informative paragraph about gorillas and their environment using text details. So ELA is going to be a little bit more complicated to navigate through. There's quite a few pages. However, you can kind of get a quick overview on this page. It gives a definition that they might need for the week's learning, and a little bit of background information. Let's start with Monday. So on Monday, basically over the week, the kids are going to be reading 2 articles about gorillas, and then they're going to be writing an informational paragraph about the threats toward gorillas and why they're endangered. So that's where we want our kids to be on Friday. We want them to be done with just a draft, so not the real thing, just their rough draft. And this curriculum from Monday to Friday is going to walk them through the writing process. So if you want, start with right here where it says mountain gorilla. Click on that and you will be sorted for the rest of the week, because you can navigate through ELA's curriculum by pressing this next button at the bottom of the screen. So on Monday, they're going to read an article about a mountain gorilla. They read it, they look at the map. They take this quiz right at the bottom. It's kind of hard to see, so make sure you don't miss it. Once they've taken that, you can navigate and press next for Tuesday's work. Again, if you sign back on Tuesday and you want to know how to get to just Tuesday's work, you will sign into Canvas and you'll get this page. Go down week 1 ELA again. And this time, instead of clicking on mountain gorilla on Monday, you're going to start right here, the robot gorilla discussion post. The kids can watch this video from the BBC. And then they're going to answer a discussion post. It's an opinion piece, so we want to know their opinion. How well did the robot gorilla blend in with the wild gorilla group? They can say, I think that they did blend in well, or I think the robot gorilla did not blend in well. And then we gave an example as to what this would look like. To start their discussion post, which is the only thing they have to do for Tuesday's work, they just type in their answer in this box and they press post reply. Let's take a look at Wednesday. Wednesday, they're reading their second article about gorillas. So on Monday was the first one. Tuesday was just the discussion post based on the video, and then Wednesday is the second article that they'll be reading. They read the article. They can also look at it on a web browser if they click this link right here. And then also on Wednesday, they'll take this quiz. And if they want to pull up the article, they can click it right here so they can have it at the same time as taking the quiz. If you want to know what it looks like, I will show you really quick. It looks like this. Once they're done clicking the answer, they'll click next on the quiz. And then at the very end, when they're finished answering all the questions, they press submit. To go back. Okay. On Thursday, they're going to start writing their informational paragraph. So this is where it's going to get kind of tricky. You want to check name on paper. Do they have the title and then also the date? And we have done a lot of informational paragraphs at school, so hopefully this will look familiar. It's the exact same graphic organizer that we use to organize their writing at Camelot. So it won't be like they've never seen this before. And me and Miss Winifred actually went ahead and just gave them the topic sentence since it's been a while. So all they'll need to do is grab a piece of paper and a pencil, and they can write out their own graphic organizer, because obviously we can't print one out and give it to them. So they'll have to kind of make it themselves. So at the top of the paper, they should have the topic sentence, and it's going to look something like this that we wrote for them. And then when they're done on Thursday, I think there's actually 2 pages for Thursday. Yes, so this page is also on Thursday. They're writing their rough draft part 2. So there's part 1 and part 2. Next, they need their first detail and their text evidence. So if you remember, the topic of the informational paragraph is the mountain gorilla of Africa is an endangered species with their lives being threatened by many different things. So the informational paragraph is going to talk about all the different threats to mountain gorilla. And they will find all of those details in the 2 articles that we have them read on Monday and Wednesday. So Thursday, part 2, they're going to come up with their first reason or their first detail, which would be a threat to the mountain gorilla. So Miss Winifred just went ahead and made some notes for the kids to remind them of what they should be writing in this box, she actually gave an example, and the kids can completely use this. So this is absolutely fine. One way that the lives of the mountain gorilla is being threatened by people cutting down the forested homes. And the text evidence, she pulled it from one of the articles. In the article Mountain Gorilla by National Geographic Kids, the article tells us that their forests are chopped down for farm fuel, for farmland, fuel, and housing. Make sure that you read the noticings so that we make sure that they're writing as best as they can be. And then when they're done with that, so they're more than welcome to copy down this detail and text evidence. They're going to press next. And this will be writing the rough draft part 2. And this is also on Thursday. So Thursday is going to be pretty work heavy. Here are 2 more links to the same articles in case they need to refer back to them. And then this is where they're going to start writing by themselves. So we've given all the topic sentences and then the first detail and the first reason. Now they're coming up with another detail and another piece of text evidence, right? So the next detail is going to be another way that the mountain gorillas are threatened, and you're going to find that in one of the 2 articles, whichever one you want. And then they need to pull a piece of text evidence for it. And then if they want to go above and beyond, they can find yet another detail as to how the mountain gorillas are being threatened. And again, they need a matching piece of text evidence. And then Friday, well, actually, sorry, we're still on Thursday. On Thursday, they're going to write the conclusion as well. And then we want to just kind of remind the kids what a conclusion is. So the topic sentence was, the mountain gorilla of Africa is an endangered species with their lives being threatened by many different things. The conclusion is going to be very similar to the topic sentence. We're just going to wrap it up. It will be the very last sentence of their paragraph. And so you want it to sound similar to the topic sentence without it being exactly the same. When you finish writing your conclusion, set the rough draft of yours aside somewhere safe to use tomorrow. So it's very important they don't lose this work. Otherwise, they're going to have to redo everything. And then Friday, the last day, looks like this. They are going to start writing their real informational paragraph using the work that they did on Thursday and their rough draft of paper. So they'll need another piece of paper and a pencil. And here is the checklist that they'll use to check their writing. So you want to have them read each sentence back to themselves to make sure it makes sense. Reading it out loud can be really helpful. Check this, the structure of the paragraph. We need the topic sentence to introduce the paragraph. First detail and evidence, second detail and evidence, third detail and evidence, and remind your kid, your student, that the pieces of evidence that they pull must match the detail. And then lastly, make sure they have a conclusion that summarizes the main points of the paragraph. We want them to practice changing boring words to more vivid and exciting words. You can use your own imagination, or you can look them up in a dictionary, a thesaurus, or using Google and checking for synonyms. For example, like the gorilla ran quickly would be kind of boring. There might be something that you could replace the word quickly with to make it more exciting. Add in transition words to move from one part of your writing to the next. And then here's an editing checklist to make sure that their punctuation is correct, their capitalization. Have they been using question marks? If there's a question, exclamation marks if something's exciting. And then check the commas. Add commas where you want the reader to kind of pause and take a breath. When they are done, you can go ahead, look at the rubric. It's a little complicated. This is mainly just for the teachers to grade the kids' work on. Oh, it's locked. That's why we can't see it. So we don't want the kids to start writing early, so we've locked it. But there will be a text box. The kids will be able to click on the text box and actually write up their final version of their paragraph directly onto the laptop or whatever device you're using. If you prefer to submit it on paper, though, you can take a picture and send it to me through Class Dojo. I'm absolutely fine with that. And then the last fun thing that they're going to do on Friday, and this is locked as well, but they're going to see an assignment where they have to take a picture with an animal, and you'll see an example that I did. And that's just kind of a fun way to end the week for ELA. So they can go ahead and do that on Friday. I'm going to navigate back to home real fast just to show you social emotional, so kind of regulating emotions. They can do that. That's on Tuesday if you look at the schedule right here, and then Thursday too. We're doing calming strategies this week, so ways to calm them down. And it will look something, oh, I forgot to unlock it. But there will be a quick YouTube video for them to watch on Tuesday, super simple. And then on Thursday, they're going to look at a list of calm down strategies, and then they'll watch a video where I describe the calm down strategies to them, and then they'll practice using one. And that's about it. If you have any questions on how to use Canvas, just let me know on Class Dojo or through text or phone call. And we can always Zoom, and I can share my screen with you guys to help you navigate. Real fast, the to-do list over here looks kind of scary. I don't want your student to see all of these assignments and start panicking. Remind them that these assignments are to be done over the whole week. Don't start clicking on stuff over here. I think it's better to just go through the course on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and take the assignments as they come using the modules page instead of looking at all of these things over here and trying to do them without doing the lesson first. Just to remind you guys, I know I talked about it on the last video, but my office hours are right on this homepage. They changed from Tuesdays, they changed to Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 10, so that me and Miss Winifred have the same. The ID is right here. You can go ahead and just click this if you want to use a web browser. If you're using the app, there's the meeting ID, and it's always going to be the same. You'll be in the waiting room until I admit you or your student. And then your kids can also click here to see the Zoom expectations that I have for them. This will just tell you the difference between the office hours and then class meetings. Go back real fast. Science, I need to fix science a little bit, so I don't want to show you guys. It's going to be a little bit complicated, but it's just watching some different mystery science videos, as you can see in the schedule right here. So on Monday, they'll watch Why Do We Celebrate April Fool's Day? Wednesday will be What's the Biggest Tree in the World? And then Friday is Why is January the first month of the new year? And then the blank spots in the schedule, don't worry about them. That's just because your kids deserve a break. We don't feel like we need to do a social emotional lesson with them every single day. We know that's kind of a lot, and we want to ease them into Canvas easily and smoothly. So don't worry about that. And then the last thing to know is at the very bottom of the homepage, there is a bunch of links. If you want to see the Meet Your Teacher page, you click on this, and it kind of says the same thing about the office hours with the link, and then a little bit about me, photo galleries, just some pictures, important links for parents that they might need. And then if you want to go to the FWPS website, you can click right here and it will take you there. I think that is about it. Just remember, everything that you'll need will be right on this home page. If you have any questions, please just let me know. Okay. All right, I'm going to end this screen share, I think, right here. Okay.